Okay, so hello out there and welcome to our discussion. I'm here, Jamie, with Claire on the actual full moon of Capricorn on this Monday holiday weekend. And Claire is, we're in my home and discussing already the themes and our personal lives and what's coming through energetically and practically during this time. And that's really what this talk is about, is to share thoughts on what you may be experiencing or what themes are arising with a full moon in Capricorn, and to inspire and give you space to maybe reflect on how this is moving through you and giving yourself an opportunity to be guided, by the energy of the moon cycles. And we moved from a new moon in Gemini into, which was 2 weeks ago, and into this full moon. So in previous talks, we've shared that it's not like you wake up and everything today is just like the theme of Capricorn in a full moon. There is a flow of how we move through the cycles of the moon. And Claire here has been such a important communicator of astrology and of how the moon cycles can be interpreted. And she uses her background with astrology. Claire also has a background in psychology. And with my background in Chinese medicine, we sort of organically infuse this conversation with topics of of life from our background. So when Claire's ready, I'm going to let her share what's been coming through for her with this phase of the moon that we're in right now.
Thank you. I wanted to just point out maybe the starkest difference between Cancer, which is the sign that the moon is most comfortable in, and it just happens to be that when we're in a full moon in Capricorn, it means that the sun is in Cancer. Everybody knows that, you know, late June, early July, you must know people who are having birthdays and you think of them as Cancer. But so the full moon and the sign of the sun are always in opposition. So it's a stark contrast, like I said, because Cancer is known as sort of a mothering or ultra feminine energy, and Capricorn is typically seen as stern, rule oriented, punishment oriented, no pain, no gain kind of attitude. Earth sign, no shortcuts, all that. And I bring up that difference just because now, today, Jamie and I are talking about a full moon in the sign of Cancer. In the sign of Capricorn. So there's this question about how do we integrate these different energies, and the way I tend to the organizing principle that I go for is to just put the moon first, the moon front and center, what the moon represents, no matter what sign it's in. And the full moon represents, first of all, light, and being able to see in the dark. So whatever intentions we set 2 weeks ago with the new moon, we would hopefully find some kind of fruition or insight into ourselves at the time of the full moon. And personally, this full moon in Capricorn um, got me thinking on a pretty mystical level, because Capricorn has a yeah, it's the goat getting up the mountain. It's a pretty earth-bound sign, Capricorn, but it's also deeply mystical and spiritual sign, beyond the stereotypical, like I said, patriarchal energy about it. Does have a glyph that has a bit of Scorpio in it, which implies a lot of depth and watery depth at that. So when I start with a full moon and sort of tapping into the full moon energy, personally, I was really struck by the Capricorn having that spiritual guidance of what might need to transform, or be transformed energetically or emotionally, because Capricorn isn't just about scaling a mountaintop. It's about finding something unexpected after you've checked all the boxes and done all the labor, and groveled and slaved through some sort of trial, you might have put yourself through. And of course, here, when we're talking about moon cycle, it's probably relational. It's probably somehow embedded in your life through family of origin or chosen family. But these rules that we adhere to, it's always in the hopes of getting something from them, some gain. And what I found is that, bringing that moon energy forward and putting it ahead of stern, controlling Capricorn was a really lovely transformation for me. That, the moon wins. And that really tells Capricorn, well, I mean, I sort of got very little resistance from my internal Capricorn energy of, oh, well, thank you. I would love it to be in service of, a nurturing and holistic and beneficial energy, which is what I think of as the moon, the full moon, and Capricorn being in service to that moon energy revealed Capricorn's willingness to, at the top of the mountain, have an epiphany. We meet the guru at the top of the mountain. Everyone's seen those cartoons, right, where you get up to the mountain and you realize the journey was really about something else. Well, exactly. Capricorn is so much more understood, I think, in this full moon energy. And I was saying to Jamie earlier that light of the full moon was really what I felt when I organize things on principle, which in my book is, moon first, and then the order follows after that. And Capricorn, who's used to being first, meaning breaking trail or going up the mountain or being the CEO or having the power and the control, it's actually all in service of this transformation that Capricorn is really about. Capricorn is only going up that mountain because of that Scorpio tail that inspired it to seek some kind of change. So we follow the rules, or we pay the price, as it were, in many of our relationships, but we can, within those relationships, and especially, I mean, I'm not talking about destruction. I'm talking about seeing more in the darkness. The full moon can kind of let us see that we can be flexible in our goals, and that allows for epiphany and change that might have been the whole point all along. It's a much happier form of Capricorn than I had previously experienced, and I like it.
I like, what comes to me too is this word softening. It's like you put the full moon with Capricorn and you're describing the strengths of Capricorn energy, and then, like as you said, lead with the moon, but there's the moon is so feminine, there's more of a softness there. So there's just a way where you can be on your path, or is what I'm picking up, and seeing where you're going and staying potentially focused, or wherever you think your next step is, and then letting the moon lead with eventually that feminine softness, or letting go, or receiving what actually is there. Once you're there's just feels soft. Yeah, the two
Yeah,
feel
I
like a
sort of
good combination.
right. I get kind of a spiritual entity that comes forward. Like the animus, the soul that comes forward out of the body of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn has the rings, and the rings are really metaphors about being in a body, having actual. I mean, it's a metaphor, but actual limitations, which we do in our physical bodies, and then being able to access um, the the animus inside our um, um, life. The mortal coil is seen by a, I mean, is recognized as a mortal coil by our eternal animated soul, and somehow what you're speaking to, that softness, that the full moon, the big beautiful feminine, all men have feminine, all women have feminine energy. Then when we let the feminine lead, what it does with that Capricorn is it embraces that beautiful animus that is inspiring our our actions, our choices, and how we um, um, pursue our earthly um, experience.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that softening isn't just, oh, let's do it, let's do it, softly like a woman would. I mean, we all know, of course, women are incredibly tough, and that doesn't really make any sense to think of softening per se as feminine, and yet the feminine energy, when it softens, can actually give birth. It can, the
right.
birth canal can widen and open, and it's very a forceful, quote, softening.
Mm-hmm.
And Capricorn, I think, really can delight in that sharing of the power. I mean, there's a lot of power in Capricorn's strict, stern, unrelenting power, and yet when we lead with the moon, we understand that that's kind of like the the tool that's used in nature. It's not really a tool, but the what brings a wave up so high that it then can, water is being pulled up, and then it glides along beautifully like a soft wave, let's say. But there's that power underneath that I think Capricorn, with its Scorpio glyph at the bottom, a tail, what we're talking about. It's that, you do not want to mess with a Capricorn power, but at the same time, we're not messing with it. We're mooning with it, and just having that full moon,
Experience.
yeah, expansion of what we know to be true
Mm.
inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Well, this is a really great opportunity. I know I get a lot out of just taking some space on a full moon and seeing what, either how this description relates to you in your own experiences. Also, getting some of the language, and a different language of this depth of astrology that has such roots in guidance. And I'm sort of bringing this full circle to close, and give you that in permission to take space and see what's coming through after listening for you in this full moon setting. Do you have any other closing comments, Claire, before we say goodbye?
Well, it is Moon Day, so I like that. I'm not sure if we've ever really done one of these on a Moon Day. I
Ah.
wanted to mention that. And then the next time we'll be chatting is the next new moon. So we're heading into um, a waning phase now, and it'll be dark again in Cancer. So let's all um, remember our whatever's inspired us about hearing about the full moon in its kind of starkest contrast, really, to a sign, because the moon belongs in Cancer and it's happens to be in Capricorn today, but the properties of the moon are Cancerian, and so the next new moon we'll be talking about how the moon feels when it's really in its home sign of Cancer. So I just wanted everybody to if you have gotten inspired, to just see where your intuition takes you, because we're heading into a home court game in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. The heart of the moon energy. All right. Thanks, Claire. We will see you soon, or we'll be talking more soon. All right. Ciao for now.